You guys, over the last couple of weeks here on the channel, we've actually already made a few different videos that have been centered around and focused on none other than the Philadelphia Eagles. And while these videos were more so tailored towards the expectations this team might have had going into the regular season, and also some of the positives that could have been taken away through the first couple of weeks, as we already find ourselves a third of the way through this 2022 season, there's also yet to be a week where the Eagles are not crowding the headlines and exceeding the expectations of the entire NFL world. Now, whether you actually want to get into a conversation, say about the versatility of this offense, maybe the improvement of the defense, and believe me, a lot can be said no matter which direction you might go, there still seems to be some things regarding the Eagles that many people around the league haven't quite realized yet. And well, if things continue to go the way they have been, the realization might be coming sooner rather than later. One sec though guys, if you haven't yet, don't forget to like the video if you do enjoy, subscribe, and turn on those notifications to never miss another NFL video. Love you guys. We're going to continue to come out with brand new NFL content every single week as the season goes on, so trust me, you do not want to miss it. But anyway, let's get back on topic with the Philadelphia Eagles, who, if you did want to stay on the topic of exceeding expectations, while their record as the only undefeated team in the NFL at this point is probably the first thing that comes to mind, the second thing you should think of should easily be their astounding improvement in their passing ability. Because, well, as they currently sit as a top 10 offensive unit through the air this year, compared to being a bottom 5 team in this category last season, while the addition of AJ Brown has clearly worked wonders for this offense and how they are actually able to operate, it truly cannot be overstated how much this is directly tying into the success they've seen this year. Because I think almost everyone that's watching this video can testify to the fact that if your team is relatively just a one-dimensional type of offense, there's typically always going to be a ceiling that you will eventually hit in terms of how successful you can actually be. And again, to use last year's Eagles as reference, with a #1 rushing game and a 29th ranked passing game, compared to the ridiculous offensive output that's been seen so far, ranking as the 5th best rushing team, and again, as shown before, the 9th best passing team, I mean, it's pretty obvious that their new two-dimensional ability, along with, of course, the MVP level of improvement seen out of Jalen Hurts, are a couple of, if not the biggest reasons why this team is sitting where they currently are. And while it's been seen through almost any one of their victories so far this year that they have been able to effectively utilize the specific area of their offense that might work against teams in specific situations, with the majority of Eagles opponents through the first couple of weeks consisting of mid to low ranked defenses when compared to the rest of the league. Despite their high level of success, there were still some outsiders posing the question of what this team would be able to do when matched up with the best of the best on the opposite side of the ball. And while I personally think there are a handful of teams across the league that you can make an argument and say that they are the best defense in the league right now, with even the Eagles being in that conversation, but another team that is undoubtedly in that conversation is the Dallas Cowboys. And with Philly going into their first matchup against Dallas, with them ranking 1st in the NFL in total sacks, 5th in passing yards allowed, and 2nd in rushing yards allowed, I'll just say that many people thought there were going to be a lot of questions answered regarding this Eagles offense. And do you guys remember how we were discussing the two-dimensional ability of this offense? Well, it turns out, as crazy as it might sound, and from what we've seen, they might even be a 3-dimensional offense. Now, I know this new dimension is simply just a combination of their run and pass game, and it's also something the Eagles have already been continually using so far this year, but for the Eagles to aggressively use both read option and run pass option abilities as much as they did against the Dallas Cowboys, while some people think this game doesn't mean much, my biggest takeaway from it was that the Philadelphia Eagles might just have more ways to beat a team than any other team in the NFL. Because again, while the improved pass game is one of the biggest contributors to the success that Philly has seen this year, statistically speaking, this was one of, if not Jalen Hurts' lowest performing games of the season in this specific category, aside from what the final score actually showed, and again, Philly's continued struggles to put points on the board in the second half. The offense, for the majority of the game at least, didn't seem to skip a beat from what's been seen throughout most of the season thus far. Because within Philly's RPO system, that seems to be a very successful backup plan they can always lean on in situations like this, as we've already seen, with the combination of a quarterback like Jalen Hurts, who I think it's very difficult to find many people in the league that would run an RPO offense more successful than him, along with the running back core that's already proven to be good over the last couple of years. You also have the core of wide receivers in guys like AJ Brown, Devonta Smith, and Quez Watkins, who, as if defenses already aren't thrown off enough by this scheme, have already shown us that they are able to produce yards after catch in the passing option of this offense. And then another thing, aside from the versatility on this side of the ball that's been seen, while there's always going to be issues that will continually need to be addressed and fixed, Philly's ability to put together a game-winning or game-clinching drive in every situation they've been put in so far this year is really what separates them from the rest of the pack. They did it against the Cardinals, they just did it against the Cowboys, and while some people might not consider these teams the most intimidating that Philly might have to match up with, people are sometimes really quick to forget that at the end of the day, producing winning football is really all that matters. But then if you also want to get into a discussion about what the defense has been doing, because again, as we stated earlier, they could easily be considered a top 5 unit on this side of the ball, and trust me, despite what some of you might think, the numbers also back this up, as they're currently 1st in total turnovers, 6th in total sacks, and even 6th in passing yards allowed. And also, just an even crazier stat for you, they currently have as many turnovers forced this season as they do touchdowns allowed. And while many people obviously expected this side of the ball to improve with some of their acquisitions and guys like Hassan Riddick over the offseason and even recently trading for CJ Gardner-Johnson, I think I can confidently say that it's proving to be more of an X factor with every passing week than most people could have expected. Because whether you want to talk about the drastically improved pass rush or the seemingly finally fully filled out secondary with Bradbury, Epps, CJ, and Darius Slay, I just don't know if there's many teams across the league that have shown as much promise and potential on both sides of the ball as the Philadelphia Eagles have so far this year. But of course, we still have a lot of football left to go this year, so I guess we'll just have to wait and see. But with everything we have seen and mentioned regarding Philly, I am of course also extremely curious to hear what you all have to think about their situation. So please let me know in the comments what has impressed or even surprised you the most regarding this Philadelphia Eagles team from either side of the ball so far this season. And also, what do you think this team needs to improve the most in order to sustain the success that they have seen so far this year? But again, you guys, if you haven't yet, don't forget to go down below and leave a like on the video if you did enjoy, and of course, subscribe while you're down there. As mentioned, brand new NFL videos are just going to continue to come out every single week as we move along in the season. So again, trust me, you don't want to miss it. But also, I just wanted to say thank you so much to each and every one of you out there for watching. I appreciate you all more than anything. You all know this, and I will see you guys in the next video.